Alright, so I've gotten a lot of questions about the new Taranis X9D Plus Special Edition 2019 version and how it compares to the older version. And first off, one of the questions was, they still going to be selling the older version? I don't know the answer to that. I'm not sure if the newer version, the 2019 version, is replacing the older version or if they're going to be selling them at the same time. So time will tell. As far as I can tell, the older version is still available a lot of places, so if you are looking to get the older version, you can still buy it. The newer version, of course, has the access feature, which I'll talk about that a little bit later. A lot of controversy around that, but I'm just going to talk about the differences between the two radios and a couple things. So obviously, this is a carbon fiber version of the older version here. I just have the different water print on this one here. They do come in different flavors. But the thing that was pretty significant is there's a power jack for charging the internal battery, which is included on the older version. The newer version, no power jack for charging, no battery is included either. So, yeah, so you get the battery power charging port and also the charger on the older version, not included on the newer version. The older version has the traditional sliding power switch here, which people seem to like. But the newer version has the power button. You have to press and hold to turn the radio on. Now all of the switches and everything appear to be the same and in the same positions and same functionality, except you now have this momentary switch here on the top, which is not on the older version. Got the same GRBA module in the back, so you can put in Crossfire in here, but the current firmware that's on here doesn't support that. I'll talk about that here in a second. The antenna is also removable, like on the older version, so you can swap the antenna out. The button layout and the front screen is a little bit different. You have the same three buttons here on the left, but now you have a scroll wheel here on the right instead of the three buttons here on the right, which I think I like the scroll wheel better on this one. Of course, they both have the same Hall sensor gimbals. I think they're pretty much the same, but the stick ends are a little bit different on the newer version, but the gimbals feel pretty much exactly the same. Now taking a look at the firmware that's on here, let's go ahead and let me just show you what is actually supported on this version. So under internal RF module, you have access, of course, and ACC ST D16 and ACC ST LR12. Those are the three that are supported on the shipping firmware. No D16 support unless you enable the external RF module, but multi-protocol module support and crossbar module support aren't in here, as you see. Turn it on, we have PPM, XJT, so you could put an XJT in here and get D16, or sorry, D8 support that way, but no multi-protocol module support. DSM2, R9M, and SBus. So no crossfire, no multi-protocol module support. So this is out of the box here. Now I do have a video on how to upgrade your firmware so you can get multi-protocol module and crossfire support. That's on the I think the X9 Lite. The procedure should be the same. To get into the bootloader, I believe it's the same. You just press the two sticks, so the two trims in, turn on like this, and then you get into the bootloader like that. So I will put a link to that upgrade, the firmware upgrade video, down in the description if you're interested in upgrading your firmware on the X9D. The procedure should be pretty similar. The thing is, it's a moving target. They're constantly coming out with firmware updates, so it's like changing all the time. So that video may be a little bit different in terms of the files that you'll see available for download for this particular model. Just find the latest versions and they should work. Okay, regarding the question of whether or not you should get this or the older version, if you need D8 support, you are going to have to do all the flashing and everything, so that could be kind of a hassle for you. However, if you do upgrade the OpenTX and the firmware and the modules and everything, you should get that support no problem, and you should be able to use Crossfire and the multi-protocol module, but again, yeah, it's a kind of a hassle. And I think that's kind of the bottom line with what's going on with FrSky stuff right now. It's things are kind of in limbo. They have a lot of things that are changing. They're putting a lot of firmware upgrades out there, so you may want to wait a little bit to see, and wait till the dust settles and see what actually happens. Hopefully they'll put firmware on here that already supports those things like multi-protocol module and crossfire in a future version. Maybe you'll see that later, but the one I got doesn't have that, so you do have to jump through some hoops to get that support. And the other thing that I really don't like is the fact that you have to put your own battery in there. You have to take the battery out to charge it, so that's kind of like the way the old QX7 used to work, which I didn't like. So if that's a problem for you, you don't like the fact that you have to actually swap the batteries out on this transmitter, then yeah, you probably don't want to get this one. Anyway, hope this video was helpful in answering some of your questions regarding the newer 2019 version of the Special Edition X9D Plus. If you have any questions, let me know, and I'll talk to you guys in the next video.